a moment, I'm going to be starting to read the history about our founder, our CEO, and our president, Denise Ship Glenn. I'll start reading off her bio here, so give us just a moment for her to make her way up here, and we are officially kicking off this party. Woo! Okay. So before we talk a little bit about our organization and Denise, I'm going to have this wonderful youth of the community, one of our teenagers. In my opinion, he's going to be a future leader. Some of his peers need to aspire to be like him, and an official volunteer of MBA. We have Cornell Irby kicking off with the Juneteenth Freedom Song. Everybody please welcome him and give a big round of applause. Cornell! Woo! Please.
The Black National Anthem.
Please, and everybody, if we could please just stand up and play our respect. You don't necessarily need to put your hand on your heart. If we could just stand up and play a little bit of homage to Cornell, that would be awesome. Wonderful, thank you. And Cornell, here you go.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as a listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Check. Thanks, Cornell. Great job. Thank you so much. Everybody give him one more round of applause. That took a lot of guts to do. Woo! So now we're officially kicking this off, y'all. So let's have some fun. The first thing I'd like to talk about is introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Hughes. I sit on the board of directors for MBA of Northwestern Indiana, Inc. And my mission is to serve the community as much of a civil servant as possible and inspire others to do so. And now I'm going to start to introduce the mastermind of it all. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our biography, and then I'm going to have everybody come up and talk a little bit about themselves and their passion. So please bear with me, it's hot. So, CEO, founder, president of MBA of Northwestern Indiana, Denise Ship Glenn. Denise, empowered to effectuate efficiency in others, Denise Ship Glenn has had a diverse path, always following her passion to endow the Black community in Michigan City. Among her early accomplishments, Denise served as a Michigan City police officer and was the 4th female officer and 2nd Black female officer in the department in the history of the city. Yeah, that deserves some recognition. Woo! That's pretty cool. Denise resigned from the department in 1996 and propelled in an entrepreneurial phase, operating a mix of businesses. To date, Denise is the professional volunteer and civil servant of LaPorte County Unity Foundation as a champion of the American African empowerment and mentor for the SCORE. Continuing her legacy of social entrepreneurship and advocacy, in 2023, Denise founded MBA of Northwest Indiana, which is a 501(c) that empowers business owners and budding entrepreneurs. Denise's goal is to empower others to reach their full potential. Denise is a champion in elevating the socioeconomic conditions and opportunities for community members and the needs of Black business owners through networking, educational resources, conversations, events, and establishing new connections. Denise is an inspirational voice, a pillar and a strength, a book of knowledge and a beacon of light for all who she encounters. So everybody please welcome Denise to the stage, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what Juneteenth means to her and where her passions are. Woo, Denise!
Michigan City, welcome. This is our second annual Juneteenth. Juneteenth is freedom. And we're here today to let you know that you are free to be anything you want to be. If you want to be a bum, you can be a bum. But if you want to be somebody, talk to me. If you want to open up a business, talk to me. But if you want to be a bum, just go. But I'm here to tell you that when I was a police officer, I used to talk to drug dealers. I say, if you can run this business, you can run any business. So that's what I'm here to empower all these young people here. They're going to be somebody because we have to pour into them to let them know that no one limits you but yourself. Right. And that's what we all need to understand. First you give your honor to God and you let him guide you, and whatever path that he chooses for you to take, just take it. It's not that hard. Yeah, it is, if you don't want to do something right. But if you want to do something right, just follow your heart and follow the path that the Lord is leading us. And that is to empower our people. We are the Melanated Business Association. That's because people of color need to come together. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you have some melanin in your skin, it helps you today because I'm burning up out here. I don't know about y'all. So I just want to welcome you, and hopefully this is the beginning of more great events. Thank you for coming. I need to shout out to everyone that helped today. Anyone that's a member of the NBA, raise your hand. NBA of Michigan City, raise your hand. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not about me, it's about us. All right.
Thank you so much for that powerful message, Miss Denise. Everybody give her one more welcome and one more round of applause. Please, you guys, don't forget to drink water, please. Okay, so next on the agenda, we are going to have Carnes, the poetress, speak a little bit about the spoken word. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her bio. Carnessa the poetress, that sounds really good, has always gone against the grain of her traditional upbringing and developed a love for music in various genres. Although she's had to work hard at building confidence in her gifts and talents, she found writing and performing to be liberating and therapeutic. A little bit about her artist vitae. She's a poetess, an author, a writer, a facilitator, a singer, a rapper. She also is a creator and facilitator of Bless the Mic Poetry and Performance Enrichment Program for Youth. She's created Bless the Mic curriculum in order to equip youth and adult artists alike in the fundamentals of poetry and performance arts. In 2016, she's portrayed poet and women's suffragist Naomi Anderson at the 2023 Naomi Anderson sculpture unveiling Charles Westcott Park in Michigan City. In 2016, she created Bless the Mic Open Mic in Michigan City in Michigan City and South Bend. And in 2023, Lebesnick Center of Arts Poetry Slam Champion. Yes, Slam Champion. So, now coming up to speak is Carnessa. Hi, Carnessa. Welcome.
For those of you who don't know me, allow me to introduce myself. I am a lyrical dichotomy, a beauty and a beast, called from the womb to ride these beats and serenade so sweet and bless you with my peace, but I'm giving you all of me. I'm so charismatic, so magnetic, drawing you into the bigger picture. My tongue, a double-edged sword, words flowing deep from me, the truth bleeds. My purpose, service, provoking change and healing. My testimony is something like an amazing grace. You got a problem with me? You got a problem with my faith. Stand on a chair and say that to my face. Cause I'm tall, y'all, cause I'm tall. Stand on the chair and say that to my face. You could get addicted to my flow. My flow is lace, but not lace like lingerie. I'm letting out my victorious secret. My secret be El Shaddai, period C. My gift made room for me. God single-handedly plucked me from obscurity. He gave me a platform, and you best believe I'm being groomed to be a queen.
All right now.
But I'm not thirsty to be seen. I'm just as effective behind the scenes with no titles. I'm humble at best, quiet confidence. I am a poetess. Thank you.
Yep.
So that was your appetizer. That was your appetizer.
She did that at our Mother's Day. I did Mother's Day brunch.
So I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm gonna do a dedication for Mr. Charles Westcott. Hopefully the wind will work with me. We're here to pay tribute to Michigan City's own Mr. Charles Westcott. And his 50 years of service calls for a grand celebration. He planted seeds of diligence, watered with motivation. His harvest of hard work and dedication have come to fruition. Look how far we've come with impacting children's lives. And look how much more influence we have to go. Mr. Westcott was a coach, father figure, a mentor, and role model. He possessed a wealth of knowledge and inspired children to learn and grow. And when we look back and reflect over all the accomplishments of his life, every contribution, encouraging word, life lesson, and skill set was setting up the elite youth for higher heights, new levels, new enrichments. He was positioned for greatness. He was chosen and set apart. His true passion was to empower the youth to manifest the desires of their heart. So what's next for Michigan City? Like Mr. Westcott, we need to promote diversity, create change, and build bridges of unity. Like Mr. Westcott, let's be humanitarians, be strong foundations and pillars of our community. And like Mr. Westcott, let's be movers, shakers, doers, and open doors of opportunity. So above all else, let's lead by example and continue Mr. Charles Westcott's great legacy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everybody give it up for Carnissa again. That was very powerfully moving. Wow, I almost forgot that I was the MC for just a minute. It took my breath away. And the heat, of course. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the next community member, very influential and impactful community member. Talking a little bit about the Westcott history. I'm going to read you her bio first. Her name is Albertine Allen. Born in Blytheville, Arkansas on Plantation 9 to the late Walter and Carrie Sims Malone. Albertine's journey north started from Blytheville, Arkansas to St. Louis, Missouri, to South Bend, Indiana, and then settled in Michigan City. Albertine has served in vast roles ranging, but not limited, to being facilitator, trainer, educator, instructor, peer reviewer, and certified community health worker. Albertine formerly served as a board member on the Rotary Scholarship Committee, Kiwanis Clubs, and vice chair of Michigan City, the Indiana Black Expo Board of Directors, and as a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated. Albertine currently serves on the Board of Trustees and Finance Committee, Bethel AME Church, Michigan City Women's Commission, Social Status of African American Males, Human Rights Commission, and Dr. Tammy Button Dental Health for Pregnant Moms and Infants. Albertine is an award recipient of the Program of the Year Leverage Trailblazer Award, NAACP Service Award, Minority Health Inc., 2008 Athena Award, Leadership and Untiring Devotion, and the Cancer Control Champion. Wow. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Albertine. She's going to come up and talk a little bit about what Juneteenth means to her. Albertine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to have to lean because I have vertigo. And at any moment, I might tend to lean to the left and lean to the right. So I'm leaning so that I don't fall. Oh, I can sit down, sure. Wait a minute. And then I'll cross my leg when I sit down. I met Charlie and Marie in 1957. I went out to their home to meet them because I was dating my husband-to-be, Larry Allen Jr. They were very hospitable. They had the music going, and you couldn't have a better party.
Pull up your mouth.
Oh, you want me to hold the mic so you can hear? Oh, I'm sorry. All righty. Well, I met Marie and Charlie on Eastwood Road many years ago. I went out there with my husband-to-be, and I met Charlie and Marie, and Charlie was playing all this music on these vinyl albums. He was playing Etta James, and he played Aretha Franklin, and then all of a sudden he switched to Yusef Lateef, and I didn't know who that was. And then he came up with some swing and sway, and so we just had a good time, and that was my first meeting with him. My second meeting was I came to Michigan City, and they were having something going on in Eli, and I went down there, and I enjoyed the kids running around. I had never seen kids run around the table playing ping pong, and they said this is called Round the World. Little did I know that 2 years later I would be working there with Charlie Westcott. Charlie was he was an outgoing person, I'll say that. We were talking about celebrating Juneteenth, and we're celebrating our God-given rights and freedom from oppression and all the segregation. West fought all of these things, but in his own way. Eli started with the late Anna S. Graves. The facility was on West 4th Street in a storefront. Anna Graves was the wife of Judge Tinola Graves, the first elected African-American official and judge in Michigan City. I bet you a lot of you didn't know that. Eli blew from 4th Street to 318 East Michigan Boulevard, and at that time it was Bethel AME Church. Bethel had a gym in the back, so we were allowed to use the gym, the upstairs, and the basement. And along came the state and put in a highway, and so Eli was up for sale. Mr. Charles Averett of the News Dispatch told everyone, do not bid on this building or you'll be sorry. He bought the building for $10,000. Thus, it became Eli Youth Center's building altogether. The times that we opened was from 6 until 10. Tiny Tots, Rinky Dinks, Intermediates, and Seniors. And that was Monday through Thursday, and every Saturday when the weather was nice like it is today, we took a field trip. We took field trips to Chicago, to the Riverview Park, which no longer exists. We took field trips to, we took a group of kids to a White Sox baseball game, which I did not enjoy. If you think it's hot today, it was hotter sitting up in those stands. And it was like roasting, and he had a ball. I mean, he was ripping and carrying on. I thought, what am I doing here? But anyway, he could find the darndest places to go and take the kids. And every time we went someplace, it was on a Saturday, we roasted hot dogs and climbed Mount Baldwin. And I can remember Roxanne White and Doretha and Carolyn helping me climb that hill. You couldn't climb that hill. It was too high. And we thought, this is the kids getting exercise. My goodness gracious. Anyway, there were the 3 classes. And there were only a few rules there. There was no charge to be a member. The charge was remove your hat when you entered the building if you were a male. Keep your hands off the girls. No foul language. And if you did that, you had 3 days out. Nobody wanted to have 3 days suspension. The girls had rules too. When we had our dances on Friday night after the basketball games, Charlie would say, let there be some air between you. And don't dance with a fella if he put his hat on his head. He's not giving you any respect. And so there were rules for everybody. And not only did we play basketball down there, we had cooking going on. There was an electrical class for the boys. They learned to take a radio apart and later a TV. Some of the other games we played was chess, checkers, Chinese checkers, around the world, ping pong. Slipped every time. But one of my favorite persons to play the checkers with was Alan Williams. We call him Pookie. Pookie didn't know that those were only games that I had growing up with the checkers in them. And so me and my sisters, we were good on checkers. He couldn't beat me. And every time he lost, he knocked the checkers on the floor. So the next night he'd come back and apologize. And I said, okay, we play again. We had our little tit-tat back and forth. And he said, well, I'm going home and I'm not ever coming back. Well, he's back the next night. A lot of people don't know that not only were the kids from the patch or the projects at Eli, but Queen of All Saints had a basketball team, and Wes was their coach. And so they came on Thursday nights. They had their game for about an hour, and they played the rinky-dinks and the intermediates. And as a result of that, they became socially adjusted to not just playing with the kids in their school, because it was 99% Caucasian, but they played against these little black boys from Eli. And I tell you, Charlie didn't lose hardly a game at Queen of All Saints. They have more trophies there now with Charlie's name underneath them than they have had since he's been there. The other thing was Eli won 1,000,001 games too. You could not beat Eli. Charlie and Larry Sr. had teams and they beat almost everybody in this city. And all of a sudden the Park and Rec League just went away. And Charlie had so many trophies at Eli that the Meriwether boys built him a cabinet to put him in. So we had a lot of fun down there. I don't know what else I can tell you about Charlie. I can tell you about the kids. I can tell you about Bear. I know what I was going to say. There is a saying going around, and you see the commercial on TV all the time, that a single parent is most likely to have a child that will go to prison, especially a single mom. Well, that didn't happen in the patch. Those mothers that were single moms bought into what Charlie was teaching. And all he had to do was say, I'm going to take you home to your parent. They bought into respect, honesty, fair play. And so I can tell you that they had doctors, lawyers, mayor of a major city, principals, school teachers, coaches, you name it. They came out of the projects. Those boys and girls were the best kids you could ever find. I had a lot of fun, and I grew up down there. Miss T, Miss Woodard could cook the best fish you ever laid your hands on. And I would go down there, and she had a talk with me, because I was young. I didn't know anything. I didn't know nothing but the Philippines. But she would talk to me and tell me things that a young lady should know. And so I love that about them. They took me under their wing. They took up where my mother had left off. And so I always still think about them. I think about Miss Norvell Sanders' mother, Lester's mom. Miss Torr that stayed next door, who pierced everybody's ears in the projects. And I think about the boys that grew up in Eli that I had so much fun with. I loaned my car to TC, and he never had a drive. He didn't have a driver's license. But he was courting this girl, and I was expecting my fourth child. And he said, if you loan me your car, I'll bring you a strawberry milkshake. Well, that's all he had to say. I gave up them keys, and one day Wes said, Tiny, where's your car? And I said, well, I loaned it to TC. He said, that boy don't have no driver's license. I said, well, he drove the car off. I guess he can drive. He said, Lord have mercy. You ain't gonna have no car. But he brought my car back intact. He never, I can always say to the kids, if you say something bad, you know you're going. And nobody wanted to fight Bear on the floor, I'm telling you, because if you fouled him, you were going to have a fight. and you run him into that wall, and there was no padding underneath that wall, and be like, you hit that wall, and it was bam. And he would turn around, and you knew the fight was on. So if there was a fight, Charlie pulled out the boxing gloves. And most of the time, the person that had started it all would say, okay, that's all right, Wes. We don't want to fight, it's okay. But they never came to the point where like they do now. They're shooting at one another, waiting behind buildings and killing people. Those kids had a fight, they boxed it out in the gym, and the next day they came in holding hands. It was a place where they could go and find peace, safety, and have fun. Charlie was a listener. He was a father. He was Uncle Charlie. He was a friend. And I think that all of the youth that came through the Eli Youth Center knew that. The parents knew that too. And then he went so far as to take some off to college. The first time they would set foot on a college campus, he would take them. I remember my father-in-law took Jesse, Al Merriweather down to Wilberforce. They found colleges that would take those kids. And those little games that I thought were silly games, it was teaching them the fundamentals of basketball. Back up backwards with the ball, run up, run, shoot the ball, run, turn around, back up, skip on one foot, hop on the other foot. I was like, all these little silly games. And one day he sat me down and he said, this is a means to an end. You can get an education, you can go off to college, or you can get a trade. One of the two, and you always need to have a backup plan. And if you know anything about me in my house, I taught all my children, you can go to school, that's fine, but you better have a backup plan because that may not work. You can have a trade, you don't always have to graduate from college. You can go to a trade, but when you played ball at Elite, you had to bring your report card so that he could know that you were passing. You couldn't say, well, yeah, I got a good grade, Wes. Show me. And if you didn't have a grade, whether you was on the team or not, you sat down, you didn't get to play. So that was what Charlie was all about. He was all about the kids and their lifestyle and what was best for them. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed all the women that lived down there in the projects. I learned how to make biscuits. Oh, they can sop up some gravy with them biscuits. Miss Sanders, she could make the best biscuits. So, you look back and look at the city here. Even though we have a black mayor, she didn't come up in Eli, but she did help me out at Minority Health. She was the first volunteer. But you have people at this park that went through Eli, went off to school, got an education, and came back and have donated their time to us. Miss Virginia Wright was one of those ladies. We had roller skating in the gym at one time. When the roller skating rink closed, they gave all the skates to Charlie. I said, he takes everything. But Miss Wright came down there, she was just like a beautiful skater. She went around that gym and all those kids could learn to skate, and we learned to skate right there in the gym. So for all of those years, those 38 years that I worked there, and the 45, 50-some years that I knew Charlie Westcott, he was a friend, a father, and a good person, a good-hearted person. And I would like to just thank the family of Charles Westcott Sr. for allowing us the opportunity to have time with him. He was a great person. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Albertine. Thank you. Everybody give her one more round of applause. Thank you for sharing your history and experience with us. Thank you for making that impact. We appreciate community members like you. Thank you. So, the next, but not last, person I'd like to introduce is somebody that's going to speak a little bit about Patch history. This individual's name is Benny Edwards, and I'm going to share just a little bit about his biography with you before he comes up and talks a little bit about his community passions and what Juneteenth means to him. So, excuse me. Benny Edwards, a native of Michigan City, Indiana, born in Mississippi in 1952. Grew up in Michigan City, called the Patch. In this era, he attended Elite Youth Center under the direction of Mr. Charles Westcott. Benny graduated from Elston Senior High School in 1971, where he played football, basketball, and track. He received several state honors for his participation in sports. While attending Oakland City University, Benny was the team's third leading scorer in school history with 1,613 career points. That's pretty impressive, y'all. Woo! Benny coached varsity boys and girls basketball, varsity girls track, and varsity girls volleyball. He's accredited to be the first African American coach in Michigan City to win a Northern Indiana Conference in championship in any sport, along with many other accomplishments and accolades. Yeah, woo! Benny was selected to the Hall of Fame in Oakland City University, Michigan City area schools, and Wall of Fame for his 38 years. Benny is a recipient of the LaPorte County NAACP Community and Trailblazer fame for his Community Trailblazer Award 2020, 2019, GOALS Goals Black Excellent Pillar Award, and has served on the Michigan City Enrichment Committee Board and the Michigan City Public Art Committee Board. In the Michigan City community, Benny and wife, Teresa, established the Patch Harborside Heritage Organization. In 2003, that provides scholarships to local high school seniors looking to further their education, helping senior citizens with needed supplies, and providing support in community activities by sponsoring golf tournaments, dances, and helping families during bereavement and holiday seasons. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Benny Edwards. Woo! Welcome, Benny.
Thank you very much. As I look back on my life here in Michigan City, it's been a total pleasure over the last, in this case, 72 years. I come out here to thank God for giving me the opportunity to speak at this particular time and to say some things about Mr. Westcott, as well as about the Patch era from which I grew up. I thank the Lord, though, for giving me the opportunity to wake up this morning. I thank Him for the good days as well as the bad days. I thank Him for the travels that He has given me throughout my life, and getting here from Mississippi to Michigan City to the slums of the Patch, to the Harborside homes, also to the Lakeland Estates homes where I grew up and went to school. I thank Him for the people who came along the way, who made me humble and respectful to all the things that have made me who I am today. It's a pleasure to talk about Mr. Westcott in terms of the impact he had on my life as a kid growing up at the Patch, knowing that we had parents who did take care of the neighborhood, who took care of the families in terms of feeding the kids and so forth. But it was a pleasure and an honor to know that Mr. Westcott was there for us, especially at Eli Youth Center, to be a role model and the type of person that he was in order to make us talk about race relations and how to get along with citizens of the city. I want to take this time to thank my wife, Teresa, for being here for 39 years of my life also. She's been a very pleasant and enduring individual. She's the love of my life. And I also want to thank my friends and family for their support for me for being here this day. We should also be thankful for this day, June 19th, our freedom that was given to us by Abraham Lincoln, 1865. Emancipation Proclamation passed along the way. We know that even though he signed that proclamation, it took another 2 years for the people in Galveston to realize that they were free. So it's a very important factor that we look towards this day as freedom for ourselves, and to take it not in vain, but to take it to the point where we must cherish from this point and try to build on what we can to make our society a whole lot better. It's an honor and a privilege for me to again stand up here. I want to thank Mr. Niship Glenn for this opportunity. She's running the MBA, for I understand, and she's doing a fantastic job at that. And to have us out here for Juneteenth is a very enlightening thing. I know Mr. Westcott, when he ran the Eli Youth Center back in 1947 to 1984, he was a major part of us being the type of kids growing up. And as Mr. Allen would say, we're all part of Charlie's kids. We all grew up as one of his kids along the way. But jumping around here, Mr. Westcott was a very intelligent man who came through, who found ways to have his kids learn the fundamentals of life and how to treat and respect others as life continues to come within their path. Jumping back to the Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation, which was given and celebrated, we all are in a situation where racism is still here. There's times I know that we all feel that we're free to do the things that we want to do, but there's a lot of times you find out you just can't do the things that you want to do. You got to have permission from other sides to get things done. I'm a living example that, given the opportunities for freedom, you can gain a lot to be accomplished. I was a school teacher here for 38 years, and I had the opportunity to coach and to educate a lot of the student athletes that came through Michigan City. A lot of the things that I did in terms of teaching came from the fundamentals I learned from Mr. Westcott. And the things that he taught me, I taught my kids. And I can remember things, especially when I'm a physical education teacher, to see the kids in class saying, well, Mr. Evans, where did you get that from? Well, it was something I learned back in 1960 from Mr. Westcott. This game we played, rolling the ball between our legs, running down to the wall, touching the wall, running backwards. A lot of different things. But I also learned character. I learned how to respect people along the way. And part of my role model job that I received from Mr. Westcott is trying to teach kids how to be respectful to others and try to understand what life is all about. This is a hard freedom that we have gained over the years. Our pioneer families or people, Martin Luther King, other people who have worked so hard to get us to this particular point, is very valuable to us, and we need people, especially our parents, to educate our kids on what freedom is all about. I want to thank also, as I'm going through my little notes here, a special thank to our new mayor, Mayor Angie Nelson Deitch. Angie has broke some barriers in Michigan City. And again, we talk about Juneteenth, what it has done for some of us. But as you can see, Michigan City has now received our first female African-American mayor, and we know that she's going to do a fantastic job for us. But I just want to thank her because Angie was one of my track stars in school. And one of the things that she did then was she was a hurdler. And during her part as a hurdler, she had to, of course, jump these hurdles in order to achieve the goal of winning. And I know when I was campaigning for her, I made one mention to her. I said, remember those hurdles you were jumping? And you said you couldn't do it, but you stuck with it with hard work, and you finally won, and you got over that last hurdle, and look what you achieved. Well, now she's done it again. She's done it again. She's jumped a lot of hurdles, and now we have a new mayor. Congratulations to Angie. And talking about the patch, I just wanted to say, I want to make it clear, I am not a historian. I am not a historian. I don't know all the things that you need to know about the patch in itself, but I do know that there were certain things that we had to encounter as we grew up. Mrs. Allen talked about Mr. Allen Williams. Mr. Allen Williams, who was one of the Charlie kids also, he's a great historian who has passed away, that he knows about all the history about Michigan City, and I want to give him the credit for bringing up a lot of different things that talked about the patch, talked about Mr. Westcott, and so forth. It was Allen and I who helped to get the kiosk that's located in front of the entrance here to be put in this park. But Alan knows a lot more about the patch than I do. But anyway, back in the day, when you talk about separate terms being equal, which was a commonly used phrase, this concept back in the days was used by the Jim Crow laws that wanted to make sure that we blacks were separate from whites. And it just so happened that in Michigan City, we ended up in an area called the Patch, a segregated area where we were allowed to do what we wanted to do in our area, but was not totally permitted to go outside of the area to do other things. And in the Patch, where a lot of the houses were made of wood, gray wood as you would call it, it looked like we lived in a miner's town. You know, if you ever been to a coal miner's town, it looks like that town, like we lived in that particular type of area. And you know that if you threw one match one place, it may burn about 5 houses along the way. So, well, we lived in this area that was very segregated. Our activities, or only activities that we really had to do to encounter, was to go to Eli Youth Center on the Mississippi Westcott, or to play in a yard where there was no grass out there. It was just rocks and dirt and glass and so forth, and we had to make our own fun along the way. But in this area, we had families that learned to live and to help each other throughout the entire era, if you want to call it that. We had parents who cooked for the neighbor, or we had parents who took care of the neighbor's kids. We had parents who whooped the other kids. So everybody knew everyone along the way. A lot of the people who lived in the Patch, they had migrated from the south. They came up here from Mississippi and so forth. They came to the north and looking for better jobs. And a lot of them ended up in Michigan City as well as some of the surrounding areas. And our families worked at Blossom, Joe Sam, also at Pullman Field, Pullman, if you want to call it that at the time, the train company. And that was their means of getting food and other things on the table for us. I remember coming down here to Blossom where it smelled so bad that, you know, every time we come down, my dad used to work in there, and they were making rope at the time, and it would smell the whole area. And in the end, we would have to bring him lunch down on the side window because he didn't have an opportunity to leave out of Blossom just to come back home, which was just around the corner. But our families were poor. We were poor. And if you don't know what poor is, you had to come through the Patch. And we ate different scraps. We ate different foods that we, as citizens in that era, developed ourselves with gardens and so forth and along the way. But we also, in that era, had our own grocery store. We had a hotel. We had, speakeasies, if you want to call that too, along the way. But there was different things in which we all had to encounter in that time. But I wanted to say that the Patch was as bad as it was, and as good it has been to me, there was a lot of good products that came out of there. You know, as I said before, I'm a school teacher. I was a school teacher for 38 years, and part of me growing up came through the Patch as well as through the Eli Youth Center, and I learned a lot of different things that helped me to become the person I am today. And I just wanted to say that just because you come from one place that's not as great as you think it could be, that doesn't prove that you can't go to places that can make you better than what you should be in the first place. So I had that opportunity. I got there. I got my education, got my master's and so forth. And along the way, which wasn't said, and I'll just give a thunder for myself because my wife, I know she would want me to say it, I became a Sagamore of the Wabash for Indiana. And that's one of the highest honors you can give to an individual citizen in Indiana. So there's a lot of good things that I appreciate about the Patch. But along the way, and I'm going to close here, along the way, the Harborside Homes came. They're all part of this era that we lived in. And in 2003, My wife and I, Teresa, we developed and created the Patch Harborside Heritage Organization that brought a lot of different people back from the Patch and Harborside homes. We had a lot of picnics out here. We had a lot of different dances, different fundraisers, and so forth. And along that same path, we've given out over 50 scholarships to kids who are headed out to get a higher education. So we're very thankful for all that. Excuse me, my papers are flying around. Yes. So in the end here, I just want to leave this thought with you. Our fight for freedom is not over. We battle racism every day. Just like the kids from Patch, we must create a safe village in Michigan City, especially for our young adults. Michigan City has a lot to offer our citizens. Our new mayor has bright and innovative ideas for our city to grow. We must stand by her and help her break the barriers and help her to have her first 4 years work out to be a great thing. Let's work with Angie and not against her. We want to continue to show respect to people. You want to treat people the way you want to be treated. For 38 years in education, as I said before, my goal was to be a good role model, just like Mr. Charles Westcott, the way he was to me. Positive people bring on positive results. It matters if you are influenced by either. Sometimes you must come out of your comfort zone just to make society a different place. And again, I thank God for giving me the opportunity to grow and to be the person I am today. Thank you.
Everybody give another warm round of applause for Benny. Thank you so much for that speech. Thank you. So at this point, this is the 2-minute mark for the MBA members who are vendors here to make your way up towards me. So you got 2 to 5 minutes. But first, I'd like to pass the mic off to Mr. Brett Westcott, talking just a little bit about their family remarks. Everybody welcome Brett Westcott to the stage.
Hi, how are you? First, I'd like to thank Denise, MBA, and Albertine Allen, which I only know as Tiny. So you didn't call them by their first name when you were kids. For my kids and my grandkids, they didn't really get to meet my grandfather. He passed before that. So you wish they could have. The things that he did here are unbelievable. From working with Queen of All Saints and the kids down there, coordinating them with the kids here in the Patch, alongside of the kids at Elston, and turning them into unbelievable basketball players. But like I keep hearing around here, the biggest part is forming that community. That's what he did. He bridged a community. And you have to give up mad props to anybody that can pull that off. This is 2024. So things are a lot different now. It's a great thing to come here because I've been gone for many years, not living in the area. To come here and see my grandfather's park, to experience it like you guys are. To have that feeling. I mean, you guys grew up here, but I grew up here as well. I'm the first and oldest grandchild, so I was under his foot half the day, half the night. So, but I just like, again, to take the time and say thank you very much to the MBA, Denise, Benny. That was an awesome speech you gave. There's so many people walking around here and probably that are at work that can't be here today that could give similar speeches. My grandfather was a powerful man. He was able to move mountains somehow with single words. Denise started her sentence off with something that almost brought me to tears. She said, if you want to be a bum, I'll help you be a bum. If you want to grow up to be somebody, then I'll also help you do that. That was one of my grandfather's key things in our household. So I can imagine how it made it there. You know. So on behalf of my father, Charles R. Westcott Jr., and the Westcott family, I'd like to thank everybody involved that helped to put this on, that continues to do things, and for all of Michigan City. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you. One more round of applause for the Westcott family and their impact and influence over history with what it means today for Juneteenth. So before we move to public remarks, I'm going to open the stage up to the public for anybody who'd like to say a brief message about what Juneteenth means to you as a LaPorte County citizen, community member. I am going to start now with talking a little bit about our MBA members that are here as vendors today. We got a few special guests. And the first person I'd like to introduce is the owner of Living Green Garden, LeBray. Is LeBray here? LeBray. Everybody welcome LeBray to the stage. LeBray's going to talk a little bit about our business and a little bit about Juneteenth.
Yes. Hey everybody, happy Juneteenth, happy Freedom Day. Woo, yes, yes. So my name is LeBray Booker, and I am the owner and founder of Living Green Garden, and also a proud MBA member. Yes, yes, I am. So, yes. So, let me explain what Living Green Garden is. So, Living Green Garden is holistic, plant-based healing. So, it's to get people connected back to the land, which is healing. So, we have been disconnected from the earth, disconnected from our natural, ancient, and historic practices of connecting, growing our own food, eating nutritious foods from the earth, being out in nature, connecting with our food, and connecting with each other. So that's what Living Green Garden is to get people to heal. And when people heal, the earth will heal. And to heal by going back to the earth, gardening, and Benny was talking about like living in the patch and gardening and how they were poor, but they grew their own gardens. So we can be self-sufficient as a people. We have relied on the system so much that if the system were to crash, like if you have your own garden and you are self-sufficient and you have some land, can't nobody touch you. Can't nobody touch you. You have some land and you grow your own food. And there is healing in that, and there is community in that. And that is what Living Green Garden is about. That's what it's about. And to connect that with Juneteenth, like Freedom Day. So our people, black people, were exploited, brought over here to this country for the skills that we naturally had, which was connecting with the land and growing crops, growing our own food. And we've been exploited, and now there was like a mass exodus from like not farming and not connecting with the land. And thought like, I don't have a problem with corporate America, but we have gone away from our roots. So Living Green Garden is about going back to who we are as a people, which is having a connection with the land, communing with the land, and communing with each other. And when we do that, and when we unite, not just black people, but all people, that we all will heal. And that's what it's about. So gardening, plant-based foods, healing for the earth, and healing for all people. Happy Juneteenth, people. Happy Freedom Day. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, LeBray, for that speech about being small business owner, entrepreneurship, and community member. Everybody give her another round of applause. Thank you. The next MBA member we're going to have briefly come up and talk a little bit about their business is also here as a vendor. They're from Baylock's Gourmet Butter Cookies, and we have a very special owner by the name of Bora here. Bora? Where's Bora? Bora or Will? I'll give you 5 seconds to make your way up here, and then I'm gonna move it to the next person. Okay, Baylock's Cookies are gonna have to come over here and make your way down. I'm gonna be moving on to the next vendor, MBA member, vendor and business president from 1111 LLC. Brandon Thompson is gonna come up and talk a little bit about his business and what Juneteenth means to him as a community member. Everybody give a warm welcome to Brandon.
Thank you. I didn't know I was going to speak today. I just joined Denise as an MBA member not too long ago. She's been pretty much mentoring me about business. I had 1111 for a few years now. I haven't really done too much with it, but with it I was able to influence Michigan City on the video game side. So I'm going to be up here talking about video games. I know there's a few parents out there that rather have their kids play outside in the heat, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about video games and how they can possibly make you and your daughter or son some money. So what is 1111? 1111 is a group of enthusiastic gamers who love to compete in fighting games, Call of Duty, your NBA 2Ks, your Maddens, and that's where I come in. I host those tournaments at local businesses around Michigan City. Zorn Brew Works. We had one at Tap House. Our first one was at the Uptown Artist District. Shout out to Kenny Smith, who owns his own business out here in Michigan City. Just all over the place. Mugshots, the bowling alley, anywhere where I can pretty much connect with local businesses as well as help them out and bring them more customers, as well as showing our youth about what video games can actually do for you. I was fortunate enough for my parents to cater to my love for video games. I know there were some kids out there that were told to go outside and play, but 2024 is a different environment for video games. You can be an instant millionaire if you just invest a couple years in gaming. You could be a live streamer, you could be an influencer, you could be a pro gamer, and that's why I want to show Michigan City youth and young adults what they can be. There's already players out there that travel to Vegas once a year to see who's the best in Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and all the other fighting games. So there is money behind video games. Video games for me have been paying my bills ever since I was 18 years old. I was an arcade manager for a few years. I worked at Game Crazy that was attached to Hollywood Videos for about 6 years. Went to California to actually work for YouTube for a few years as well. Came back, angel investor for one of our businesses out in LaPorte, Game Emporium, when they were open. One of my best customers for Game Crazy, I'm actually working for him right now at Game Changers. He's been open for 12 years selling video games. So that's where I'm at right now. Today, I do have a intro to 3D fighting game tournament going on right now. So if there are any kids under the age of 17 that would like to win some prizes or play some video games, my tent's right over there. It's free to get in, not asking you to pay anything. I have free video games to give out. So if you know anybody with an Xbox, PlayStation 360, whatever it may be, come and grab a couple games. But yeah, I'm going to teach you about 3D fighting on Tekken 8, and then we're going to hold a competition. And whoever wins, first, second, and third, got some gift cards for you and a couple other prizes. And we have a trophy for first place. So, second and third. Everybody get their own trophy. So, if parents, if you know any kids, they're not doing nothing, just sitting down or whatever, come bring them over to the booth over here. And if you guys want to know more information about 1111, you can go to my website, 1111llc.net. Thank you.
And Brandon, can you just say a little bit about Juneteenth and what that means to you?
My freedom. It was, I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad back in the day. And the ability to conversate and be around all type of different races, not just black, white. I have a multitude of friends spectrum the whole rainbow, Asian, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. We weren't able to do that back in the day as freely as we can do it today. And with that has more job opening opportunities. Starting businesses as a black man is something that, maybe back in the day before Black Wall Street was unheard of. So Juneteenth, to me, it is about freedom and being able to do what I want to do and be the person that I want to be. And that's what Juneteenth means to me. Boss.
Thank you so much, Brandon. 1111. Thank you so much for that honesty. Baylock's Butter Cookies. You've got 15 seconds. Baylock's Butter Cookies. And then we're going to move on to some of the public remarks. For all of you all who would like to come up here and make a brief statement about your role as a community member, what Juneteenth means to you, please make your way up to the stage. And in the next 10 seconds, we're going to have the first person speak. So please make your way up to the stage for who would ever like to talk a little bit about Michigan City in Juneteenth. And I'm going to get back on the mic in about 5 seconds. Final call for Baylock's Butter Cookies. Bora, Baylock's Butter Cookies. Going once, twice, okay. Next, moving on to... We have Nancy from the City Council here today to talk a little bit about the community in Juneteenth. I'm going to pass the mic over to her. Please, everybody, give a warm welcome to Nancy from City Council.
I'm here as a City Council person for Ward 6, but certainly I embrace all of Michigan City, no matter where you live. I just want to share a little story that I think a lot of people in Michigan City are not aware of. When Representative Pat Boy was a city council person, I, and the Michigan City Human Rights Commission, we found 20 ordinances that were inadequate to cover all classes of individuals and groups of races in Michigan City. So Pat took all 20 of those ordinances, made sure they had parallel language so everybody was going to be covered and included. So no Michigan City resident could be discriminated against in employment or in housing. And this is a big deal. We were one of 12 first cities in the state of Indiana that did this. In addition to that, we added veterans as a protected class, and we also included everybody in the LGBT a community. Michigan City, first of 12 in the whole state. So I want everybody to give a round of applause for then City Councilwoman Pat Boy and now State Representative Pat Boy for taking care of all of us. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Everybody, one more warm applause for Nancy. Thank you for coming up here and speaking in front of us. It's not easy to do that in front of strangers. Just an announcement real quick. Lubizniak Center for the Arts for the Children's Events has arrived and set up tent all the way to my left. You're right. Past 11:11. And now we're going to move into a little bit of the more public remarks. Anybody else? Public remarks, public remarks. Anybody? Public remarks. Okay.
Another remark, but it's something I forgot to say.
I'm gonna bring up LaBrea up here one more time. So she's just got one more thing to say before we go on to the announcements with recognition.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I forgot to mention this before, but the goal is to get everyone growing their own food. So today, Juneteenth, there is a free vegetable plant giveaway in Gary on 22nd in Delaware. So if you're a person who gardens or wants to garden and you want some free plants, it's free plants and seeds for all, because we want people growing their own food. So it's 22nd in Delaware from 5 to 7 this evening. Free vegetable plants, spread the word. We want people growing their own food. So, okay, thank you, that's all.
Thank you so much for talking about sustainable farming. We really appreciate that and collective collaboration. Thank you, LaBrea. Okay, so before we go into the remarks and the recognition piece, I want to remind you all to please pay a special visit to your vendors. Learn about their businesses, their entrepreneurship. If you want to gift them or tip them for being here for free and serving to you for free, go for it. They'll not say no. Also, we got the little black tent over here up onto my left. That's the MBA tent. So if you'd like to learn more about what MBA means and who's a part of it, if you want to be a member or if you want to make a donation or be a sponsor, please join our tent over there. We've got some amazing board members and amazing volunteers over there that are prepared to talk to you about everything you need to know. All right, so first, before we end this little piece, I'd like to give a special thanks, a special recognition shout-out piece to our sponsors. I'd like to thank Mayor Angie Nelson from the city, Michigan City. Angie Nelson, thank you so much. The African American Empowerment Fund, which is the Unity Foundation of LaPorte County. Thank you so much, Unity Foundation. We've got Visit the Michigan City LaPorte Northern Indiana organization. Thank you so much for that tourism organization. The United Way of LaPorte County. Thank you so much, United Way of LaPorte County. NIPSCO. Thank you, NIPSCO. We like our corporate sponsors. Thank you so much for sharing your billions. We've got Midwise, McLaren Company. Midwise, again, thank you so much for sharing your millions and billions. You could give us a little bit more, though. Just kidding. Also, Aperion in Arbor, Michigan City. Thank you for supporting us and sponsoring us. And the last of our sponsors, Michigan City Commission for Women. Thank you for supporting our women. Thank you. Now, I'd like to also give a special thanks to our donors. So a shout out to our donors. We got Blockson's Parking Lot, Boathouse Grill and Toronto Baking Company, Food City Pure Ice, so City Pure Ice, 1111, HOPE Community Center, which is Hope, Indiana Black Expo and Anthony Adams House DJ contribution, the JROTC parking attendants, Lebesnick Center for the Arts and Crafts, Michigan City Pride Fencing, Michigan City Chambers for the water, Midwest Custom Events for Cargo and Crew, Reprographic Arts Inc. for the products, Scotty's Dynamic Designs for the trophies, and Tina Mahone for the accommodations. So everybody please thank our donors for either being here or donating and everything and anything. Woo! We'd also like to thank our advisory board. So we've got Jessica Duncan, thank you. We've got Gertrude Farmer, thank you Gertrude. Sonita Hatchett, thank you Sonita. And then me, Elizabeth Hughes. Janelle Watts Hughes. Janelle, thank you so much. Jackie Bird Jones, thank you Jackie. Marie Lockridge, thank you Marie. Jerry Lucas, Jerry, thank you. And Lori Wilson Patterson, thank you Lori. Let's give a round of applause for our advisory board. And then my final thanks, our final thanks, a special thanks to our team leads, team members, and volunteers. Especially Denise Shipglen for making this all happen and getting us all to collaborate together, work together to help support the minorities in the racial divide instead of dividing, uniting. Thank you for bringing us all together as one human race and not a divided human race. And reminding us what Juneteenth is about, freedom. Freedom to express ourselves, be ourselves, work together as a community to be our own community. Thank you, Denise, and thank you, board members, and thank you, everybody, for being here today.